And here we go. The Dow has a 9-day winning streak, and the S&P 500 is just a few points away from a new record high. So, well, it happened today. And then also, what the heck is happening with Fedex, and how does this affect our UPS positions? That's what we're going to talk about today. So, welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark. And today is Wednesday, December 20th. In this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. And geez, Mark, I mean, we can almost play yesterday's show because what has changed, right? So we're making new highs for the Dow. No, actually, just unchanged today. The S&P, look at this, a few points away from a new all-time high. And there we go. And that was the story for the past 6 weeks.
So close, so close. I think that, yeah, we're maybe a third of a percent away,
I
right?
know. It's less than a percent.
Gosh, I mean, that move higher, just continuing to make new highs here for the year and close to record highs. You mentioned Dow a little bit quiet today. Some Dow stocks not doing too hot, but still, all in all, just another March higher.
Yeah, and, who would have thought, right? Because if you looked at the markets here in October, I mean, this is where we were going down to 4,200, and then the next question was, okay, will we drop back down to 4,000, maybe even lower? Let me just see that I have my pen here. Yeah, maybe even test these 100 at 3,800, and then just like this, we're at 4,700, and my stake zone prediction, I mean, it sounded very ambitious at this time, and it's very ambitious right now because the markets just chooses to move away from it.
Well, I know we don't need to beat a dead stake here, but this is why I took the trade or the bet, Marcus, because I thought that we would have a nice recovery. I thought you had a really good prediction there, but just where we ended up, to me, it was no brainer to take the trade. I would not have guessed that we would be approaching 4,800 at the end of the year. I thought that was a pretty good range that you gave. It was just too tight to be a winner.
Yeah, because look at this. I mean, S&P up 16% just in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, just a complete turnaround and shift in mood in the market, right? Now investors feeling like they missed out on this rally, trying to get in, where just a couple months ago it seemed like interest rate yields were above 5% and everything was getting worse, worse, and worse. So trade
Yeah,
what you see.
I mean, that's yeah, as you said, I mean, the 10-year yield just in October hit the 5% mark, and everybody was panicking. Mortgage rates climbed towards 8%, even above 8%. Now we are below 7. We are at 6.8% in the mortgage rates again. So I mean, huge slide here from 5% to 4%. I mean, if we look at this slide, I mean, this is even more dramatic than the climb that we had in the S&P, because here we're down more than 20%, 22.5% that the 10-year yield came down.
Yeah, that's a big slide. I mean, it's nice, in my opinion, but today the 3.871% yield that was hit was the lowest since July 27th. So getting lower.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And then we also have the VIX, the fear index, that is just hanging out there. No fear in the markets. I mean, right now, I mean, we're getting close to the Santa Claus rally. We got to talk about the Santa Claus rally for a moment.
Yeah, and this is where the Santa Claus rally is it kind of takes on different meanings to different people and gets tossed around as a rally that could take place anywhere after Thanksgiving up until the new year, right? So people say, oh, Santa Claus rally, because it's heading into December. But technically speaking, the Stock Traders Almanac looks at the period just like you wrote there, the last 5 trading days of the year, first 2 days, or sorry, last 5 of the year, first 2 days of the new year, And this period historically typically is higher rather than lower.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I mean the 5 days are actually starting this Friday because
yeah,
next Monday markets are closed. So next week we only have 4 trading days. So technically, the Santa Claus rally should start on Friday, and I mean, I believe that the Santa Claus rally and what happens this week can push the S&P to new record highs here.
I think we're going to get new record highs by the end of the year. I think so. I'll be honest though, this starts to make me feel a little uncomfortable because we've gone parabolic and the VIX has been so low. We know that's not going to happen forever. I mean, we're not going to get a spike in the VIX that goes up to 30 that stays elevated and just craziness for a prolonged period of time. But we're due for a spike. We're due for a shakeout. We're due for a down day. And I think a pretty decent one. We just need a little snowball of events that leads to a little bit of a pullback. Right now, though, everybody seems optimistic. Consumer confidence high too.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about this. So today's economic calendar, mainly consumer confidence and consumer confidence coming in screaming hot. Existing
Yeah,
home sales also exceeding expectations. So consumers are confident, consumers are spending. I mean, even buying large tickets like homes.
yeah. So I mean, this is where it's an index and barometer for what Americans think of present economic conditions, as well as a 6 month outlook. And that increase there, just showing that trader or investors are more optimistic. They're right in responses for the top issues affecting consumers. The number one is rising prices. So, I mean, go figure. We know that inflation, even though it's coming down, remains an issue for consumers. And some things that were an issue that have ticked lower are politics, interest rates, and global conflicts. So although those are things that consumers are worried about, they're a little less pressing compared to rising prices and previous write-in responses.
Yeah, and talking about rising prices, I mean, the core PCE on a price index on Friday, I mean, that's definitely something to keep an eye on because if consumer confidence is higher, if jobs are actually, or unemployment is low, if we see that existing home sales are rising, I mean, this means that rents are rising, right? And let's see. Let's just hope that we don't get an uptick in inflation again because an uptick in inflation that could definitely derail this rally.
I agree. Yeah. Gosh, I want to make a prediction here, but
Ooh.
no, because then the opposite's going to happen.
Oh,
Trade what you
okay.
see. Trade what you see, not what you think.
Yeah. We got to talk about FedEx. So FedEx reported earnings, and FedEx, I mean, down a whopping 10% for FedEx. That's a huge move down.
It is just a big slide here. So this was the worst performer in the S&P. They issued disappointing revenue outlook for the fiscal year, and they also had an earnings miss. So you see that revenue was lower, the earnings per share was lower. So a pretty weak earnings report from FedEx,
Yeah,
and
and I mean,
that
especially
deserves.
the outlook, right? I mean, the outlook is that they said, well, we are actually expecting to have less revenue next year than we had this year, or next quarter. I can't remember. Was it the year or the quarter? Anyhow, they were going from a flat because they said, yeah, well, we probably will be flat. I believe it was for the year that they now said, yeah, we do believe that we see a decrease in revenue, and it's probably in the single digits, but still a decrease. That's not what investors wanted to hear.
No, and that instantly gave up half of the gains that we've seen since those lows that the market saw in October.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about our positions because this has an effect on our positions. But first up here, CSIQ today slightly down. And I mean, yesterday, a great day for CSIQ. Yesterday, up 3.39%. So this were today probably another profit taking here. So we'll keep an eye on this. Right now, just stuck between a rescue mission and being able to sell calls.
And with that sharp move higher this week, a little bit of a pullback. I mean, last week we were up 9.5%. This week we're up 3.6%. A pullback is, given at some point, and we'll watch it.
Yeah. NE just camping out right there. And this is super interesting because we talked about it. We needed to break through the 62 level. Oops, let me just remove this really quick. Right, and we did break above it, but now we are just trading right below it. So now the next move higher needs to break through the 62 level again. But I mean, the uptrend is
Um,
still intact. So I mean, I think we're good here, and I do believe that we will see a move to the upside here very shortly.
yeah, almost a picture perfect trend line there.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, UPS. UPS being dragged down today by Fedex. But look at this, a huge recovery here on a 5-minute chart. This morning, honestly, because this is where we got assigned, I sold calls at the 160 level. So here are the calls that I sold. I got assigned at 157. I was kind of hoping that I can buy back the calls this morning because I was expecting a reversal and then hoping to sell it again later. But I was looking, following my plan for 90% of max profits. I think if I went there for, would have gone for 80%, I might have gotten it. But I followed my plan. But UPS is doing exactly what I thought it would do. So I'm still in these calls. Let's see what happens. Were you able to close out your 165 calls?
Yippee ki
No way, really? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I was able to close them at 5 cents, so that was 94% of the max profit. And I expected the same. A little bit of an overreaction there. This move at UPS actually is pretty strong, in my opinion, because yes, they're two separate companies, and the correlation there's going to be a little sympathy move, but it's not as strong as you might expect. I mean, even FTX was making record highs, and UPS was just kind of drifting higher. So I expected a little bit of an overreaction. I do like that we're down just 1.4% while FTX is taking a beating. Earnings are coming out January 30th. So there's still a lot of time before earnings, and we get to hear what from UPS and what their outlook looks like. But yeah, those calls closed at 5 cents.
Man, this will be good. So, are you planning again to sell calls at 165 this week, or for this week expiration, or for next week? We can take a look at the
No,
calculator
no,
here.
I sure with the holidays. I mean, this is where we like to go week to week, typically maybe one maybe 2 weeks out. I would be looking to get the holiday period into those calls just so we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, and right now, the 165 only trading at 35. So you're looking for
Yep.
probably what, at least $1.30.
Yeah, and I know that we're just not there yet, so I didn't even analyze it this morning. I wanted to see if we could get back to break even for the day. I think we'll end up down, but I'm still liking this reversal.
Yeah, I mean, again, I said FedEx down 10%, UPS down 1.5%. We'll take this. So nice job. I was hoping that I could close mine, and since my 160 here is way closer to the current price, I think that I could have sold it again right now.
Yeah, for sure. That
Yeah,
that would have been great for you.
yeah.
I'm just a little further away.
Other than this, I was looking at the scanner this morning. Didn't really see a lot of things that excited me. I mean, AR was okay. CME, the strike is too high. SE don't like the down move here, and I was looking at was trying to keep an eye on Oxy and XOM to see if these that we traded last week are providing some good premium. But right now, no, crude oil is moving higher again. And as I said yesterday, crude oil is moving in streaks. So here, the strike price right now is just a little bit too high.
It is. I was watching those, but not yet.
Not yet. So not much right now to trade. It's very normal to be fairly quiet, especially in a market like this, and when the VIX is super low here. And I mean, I'm okay going into the holiday seasons with two open positions. Let's see what happens to UPS because this will be one that might get called away this week. Again, I sold the 160 call. So if we are trading above 160 by Friday afternoon, if we close there, I might get called away and then have three open positions going into the new year. And I kind of like that.
I like the cash and a nice pullback after this rally.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else is going on in the markets here. So looking at a 5-minute chart of the Dow, Dow recovering and again being dragged down by Fedex, a component of the Dow. S&P positive for the day. Dow just around flatlining. Nasdaq moving higher, and this is where I saw this morning that I believe it was Google jumping higher. Look at this, Google jumping 3%, making a new 52-week high. Other than this, I mean, this is a pretty mixed overall, right? I mean, we have a few that are moving higher, a few that are moving lower. Costco pulling back from all-time highs, but Google, nice jump here.
Yeah, overall, just kind of a quiet, lackluster day. But gosh, if you had Google, nice day for you.
Yeah. So S&P closing in on record highs. Will it happen today, Mark? What do you think? Is that we are less than 1% away. Okay, I'll tell you what I think, and then you can think about it. Okay. So I think that today, intraday, we will hit the high. So this will be the all-time high. We'll hit it, and then we pull back. So I don't think that we will close at an all-time high. I believe that we will hit it intraday, though. So that's my prediction.
I think that's a good one, Marcus. I could not even bet a box of cookies in good faith, thinking that that is a great prediction. I think we'll
Ah,
close positive. I know I wanted to. I think we'll
yep.
close positive slightly, but yeah, I mean, I think that the high close I think is four. Well, no. I'm not gonna. Okay, so the all time high is 48.18, right?
Hmm. Yep.
The record close I think is 47.96.50, 57.
Yeah.
So you're saying it gets up to 48.18?
No. I'm saying that it goes up to this because that is considered the all-time high in terms of the closing price. So I'll say
True,
we go
true.
up to there and then we are pulling back. I do believe that we have the S&P right now has another 25 points in it, and then we'll pull
Yeah,
back.
okay. Because I was gonna say I would bet you cookies we don't make a new record intraday high today at 48.18. But I can see us drift just a slow drift and some excitement getting up to 47.96 and then a pullback. I don't think we're gonna close at a new record though.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with you.
We'll see. Hey, I know there's not too much going on in the markets, but we would appreciate if you could give us a like because we're here every day. Whatever happens in the markets, good, bad, ugly, or nothing, like right now, feel free to share this video. Although today probably wasn't too interesting, but hey, if you're a new subscriber, definitely subscribe because there will be way more interesting things ahead, and you don't want to miss it. So we'll see you again tomorrow.
Happy trading, everybody.